where, like, I'm not concerned about why he had 6 wives. Like, I'm available.
I was gonna say,
who is this person?
I was like, 6'4" tall ginger. I was like, so why wasn't Deschenes living in, the late 1500s?
And he plays the lute?
Alrighty. Hello. Greetings. Welcome. Another
Hola.
episode. What up?
Bienvenidos. Gracias para vivaras encendidos.
La casa en la escuela.
Keep smiling. Keep shining. Hi, Joseph.
Why, hello. I feel like
How
every
are
time we
you?
come back, like, even though it's only been a week, I'm always like, it's been so long. I think it's just
feels
purely
like it.
because, like, I think especially with, like, lockdown and shit, like, people, I think, reaching out to people a lot more and being like, like, I don't know if it's, like, with you, but, like, I know that I've reached out to a lot of people and I've, like, kind of gotten in contact with old people and kind of keeping up a schedule and talking to people. You don't seem like you're related to this.
Okay, this is why. Because I have a full-time job for, like, the first time in my whole life. So
It's because I'm sitting doing absolutely nothing.
And then also, people are reaching out to me less because of the podcast, because they're not wondering how I am. They know exactly how I am and my daily thoughts about literally everything.
Fair enough. There's, like, and when I say, like, people, I mean, like, 2 people. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So, like, my best friend in Vegas. So, my senior year of high school was hell. I didn't want to be there. I was so ready to leave. I was so ready to go. Like, let's get this year over with. I didn't go to my senior prom. I didn't even go to my own graduation. So.
Oh my God, Joseph.
I know. Well, I went to Joffrey's summer program, a ballet program. And it started before my graduation. So I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm going to be in New York for 8 weeks by myself. Like, I don't give a shit about graduation. I didn't care about anyone in high school, but there was one girl. Her name's Brianna. And if Brianna's listening, love her so fucking much.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. And she was the person who got me through my senior year. Like, we were in the same dance class together. We were in the same, like, we had, like, a leveled program in high school, and she was in the same level as I was. We had math class together our sophomore year, and, like, we were just so close. And so she got me through my senior year. Like, she was the only reason that I showed up. And, like, if she didn't show up for dance class and I walked in and I didn't see her there, I walked out. Like,
Oh my God. I have 2 friends, like, I had 2 friends in high school, basically. And Tracy and I used to plan our schedules, like, whatever classes we were taking. Like, we used to coordinate our schedules around each other. And, like, yeah, I had about a total of 2 friends because I was always at dance and I went to dance 40 minutes away from my high school. So, like, there was absolutely no overlap.
She's just got pregnant, is married to someone that I haven't met because obviously I haven't been back in Vegas for 3 years. She hasn't met Jacob and I haven't met her husband, Dan. Which is so crazy to us, but so she's pregnant and, like, I've just, like, gotten in touch with her. Now we're, like, talking on a regular basis and, like, it's like, she's the kind of friend that was, like, always like, you could step away for a year and come back and it feel exactly like no time has passed whatsoever. She's one of those people. So we've, like, now kind of set up a schedule of talking to each other, and it's been so nice just being able to, like, it's been really nice just, like, having her kind of back in my life,
Mm-hmm. 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 That is really nice.
Yes. So, long-winded of saying, hi.
Oh, it's been a while.
I dyed my hair.
Yeah, it's cute. You look like Cruella DeVille's, like, half stepson.
Ultimate fantasy. Like, Cruella DeVille has always been my I mean, are we shocked in any way whatsoever that, like, Cruella DeVille is, like, my ultimate, like, when people always ask you who your favorite Disney villain is, Cruella DeVille is mine. Like, she is just fashion icon, bitter. We love... Why do you look confused?
I'm just thinking about whom... Because you said people always ask you, and almost no one has asked me that question.
Not that I'm really that... I'm not, like, super into Disney. It's not my thing. But, like, cruel. Like, always, I've always related to villains a lot more than, like, the princesses and, like, the main characters. Like, these, like, women who are powerful, know that they're powerful, dress like they're powerful, put effort into the way that they look. How could you not? They are always fashion icons. Tell me a Disney villain who is not a fashion icon. You can't. You can't. You can't.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. I was gonna say the mom in Cinderella, but no, she can get it.
She, I mean, does her hair. She has to spend at least 45 minutes on that hair.
And like the bustle, what's it called when like the, you know, those dresses that have like the, where they like gather at the, you know?
Yep.
It's a vibe. I don't know what it's called, but it's a vibe. I'm not going to fashion school. That's okay. Good.
So yeah, I love it. It's very Cruella de Vil, very Pepe Le Pew, very
Yes.
and I'm so here for it. I'm like, I really, really like it, and I'm very proud of myself for doing it.
I like it. I liked it before, but I like it better now that you've actually done your hair, because the only time I've seen it was like who's that guy, the like Marty McFly's disgraced nuclear physicist best friend? You look like him a little bit when you showed me the picture. Yep. And I was like, cute.
You're like, okay. Yeah, no, it's a lot better now that it's styled.
We love an electricity vibe.
No, a lot better now that it's styled, so.
I was contacted by, actually no, Sarah Bailey tagged me in something on Instagram, and then they contacted me, and it's this like reality show that they were like, you should apply to like be a part of this reality show, and like it's not Love Island, so I'm hesitant, but it's called Killer Camp, and it's on the CW, and they're looking for Canadian or American citizens living in the UK or the EU to go to this like summer camp for 3 weeks. And like some people, there's like a secret killer, and you have to like figure out who the killer is, and you could win like $50,000 or something.
That's so specific, the casting call for that,
right? Because, well, I think the first season they filmed it in like Croatia or something. But yeah, I was like, I mean,
why not?
Maybe. I feel like I would just like sit there fucking terrified for 3. I don't like scary movies. I don't want to be in a situation, but I love money and attention. So
it's a balancing act.
The scale is just tipping. But yeah, that's fun. So I might apply for that and see what happens. But my best friend is getting married June 4th, and the cutoff is like June 7th. And I was like, is that okay? Can we make it so I die and like I can fuck off and go to the wedding? I think I would be doing it literally just for funsies, not for like any gain.
Well, also the $50,000.
Well, yeah, but honestly, like, do we think that I would be able to like finagle my way out of getting murdered at a summer camp? Probably not. I can't even like finagle my way into, well, I finagled my way into this country, to be fair.
That's fair enough.
I might have a chance. I think I would be a good murderer.
I was gonna say, is it like just like one of the contestants that are?
Yeah, so like they get like 8 to 10 people, and like some people are the murderers, and it's like, you know, when the cruise division would play like that assassin game.
Yes, yeah.
I have a feeling it's like that.
I would be like so scared all the time, like constantly. Like I don't know, I don't think I could physically handle the stress of like going, like it's hard enough for me to sleep at night with the anxiety that I have. Stack that with like the fact that I think someone's gonna come murder me in my sleep. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's gonna work out for me.
Also, I feel like I would spend the whole time pretending that I was on Love Island. Like I'd be like, got a text.
He mugged me off.
Like I would die because I would be like, Jeremy wants to go like on the walk of like in the woods with me at night. Like he must like think I'm really cute and want to like pull me for a chat.
Wrong show.
Dead. Done.
I am drinking, by the way.
I'm a bit drunk already.
I am drinking. I picked up a new vodka. I just wanted to try it. It's the 0 sugar because she's watching her weight. Skinny thoughts.
Oh, same. I'm watching my weight. I'm watching
her go up. Oh my god. And it's the zero.
Sorry, keep going.
It's the zero sugar infusions from Smirnoff. And it's the watermelon mint. And I literally it's watermelon mint vodka, and I just mixed it with carbonated water, and it is so delicious.
That sounds like exactly something that I would
This
like.
is ASMR, and I'm saying that like... This vodka is delicious. You're welcome. It is so good. Like, living my best life. It is so delicious.
When you say carbonated water, do you mean soda water?
I don't know if it's soda water or is tonic, because I know tonic and soda water are two different
Tonic water
things.
and soda water, very different.
Because tonic has sugar, right?
I don't know. Tonic tastes like shit. Soda water basically has like no flavor, which is why I like it. I drink like vodka soda with lime. That's like my drink.
We're one and the same.
Again,
Soul
very
sisters.
white girl.
Soul
We're both
sisters.
white girls.
Hello. I love myself a vodka soda, sometimes with a splash of cranberry, because I am a bougie ass bitch.
I threw up on that too many times in college.
I
can't
but just a
drink
splash, because too much cranberry gives me acid.
So we're old as well.
Yes.
Well, so I guess instead of drinking in celebration, we're drinking to forget, which I'm so good at. So don't worry.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Which I guess brings us to I'm so excited for this
So much fun
episode today. We care a lot about the history of this country that we are moving to, and we want to get in it. We want to learn all the things, all the fun facts. We want to really immerse ourselves in the culture and in the history. But
we're diving. We're diving into it.
We're full
front flip somersault
rotation,
with a twist, diving in.
Like almost no ripple, but also we're doing it with a twist. My favorite show of all time is Drunk History. Yes. Meaning I'm about to go get shit-faced, and then we're going to talk about King Henry VIII and his 6 wives. His whole last life.
5 minutes. Doom, 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 doom. We're 6. Ew.
Which is so on brand because it also happens to be a musical.
With an incredible fucking soundtrack. If you have not listened to it,
it's 6 the musical.
Sit down, go download it, and listen to it at least 3 times in a row because you will be obsessed.
No, it's like such a good musical, and it's like I feel like it's the UK's answer to Hamilton.
Yes.
You know?
Oh my God. I never thought of it that way, but yes, very much so.
Yeah. It's set in like a pop concert kind of vibe, whatever. The point is we're going to talk about King Henry VIII, but we're going to do it absolutely shit-faced.
Which I'm already on my way there,
around.
so don't worry.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm like halfway in the bag, but stick around and we will be right back about 80% more drunk.
Correct. There's my notes. Oh wait, there's my notes.
Oh my God, we have the same amount of notes.
Oh my God!
What's your little drawing at the end?
I was drawing a pair of shorts.
Oh, I thought it was a butt. Okay, fair enough.
It kind of looks like a butt though. Like if you.
Cheers. What are you drinking?
I
gin now.
am drinking the same watermelon and mint vodka with soda water.
I was like, you're drinking gin? What?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, she's not.
Mm-mm.
She's not, folks.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, let's talk about
Henry VIII and his 6 wives.
V-I-I-I.
V-triple-I.
V-triple-I. The OG of so many things.
The worst.
Hypochondria. Extreme home makeovers.
Fat.
Polygamy.
Sorry.
Diabetes.
I don't want to fat shame anybody, please. But he was a big fucking dude.
A trailblazer.
He was a big fucking dude.
I think he invented the wheelchair. We'll get to it.
We will
Hold
get
on.
there.
Okay. So he was the second born of 7, but like
Correct.
only 4 survived.
Correct. Well, that's like quite, if you go through like all of the wives and how many pregnancies they've had versus how many actually survived, you'll find out that like there was quite a high ratio of children born who died rather than children who born that lived. Simply, I think that just comes down to healthcare and just it not being the standard that it is today, and like people just having babies and expecting things to go right. I'm sure they were drinking, like things just did not go right. We know that. This we know.
You have a headache? We'll just like cut you, and then you'll just bleed the headache out of you. And they were like, "Oh, suddenly I'm."
They're
dead.
like,
I don't know why.
they're like, "Oh, so like your wrist hurts from a little bit of like writing too much. Okay, like let's drown you in alcohol, and
yeah,
you'll be okay."
But this guy was the second oldest, which is so great. It's such a good position to be in because his brother was his
Arthur.
name Arthur?
Correct.
Yeah, he had to be shipped off to like King's School and had to learn about diplomacy. And meanwhile, our boy Henry was
chilling.
Like, what's up about language? What's up about like reading and writing? What's
with
up
music?
About, like
he was like, why not learn the fucking lute?
Oh my god, the lute! He learned lute, organ, and recorder.
I saw that. I was like, God, if I knew that 3rd grade me playing the fucking recorder, playing fucking hot cross buns was in the legacy of King Henry VIII, I think I would have appreciated it just a little bit more.
Hot cross bums. Yeah, it's the OG, like, panty dropper. But anyway, so he was obviously, because he was around, he was like surrounded by women the whole time.
He was like the grade A, like womanizer, but also like a mama's boy. Like he was like your toxic ex that like fully was spoiled by his mother, who got everything that he wanted in life and just walked around like he was the shit.
Oh, so you've met my exes. That's so weird. Also, the bitch was tall.
Yeah.
And people weren't tall back then.
He was 6'4".
Yeah. Surrounded by like 5 nobodies.
I mean, I can only imagine what it was like with him walking around. Could you imagine like his fucking tailors and his seamstresses walking up and being like, oh fuck, I gotta buy an extra fucking half a yard of fabric. I didn't plan for this.
He was a tall ass, like, conceited ginger. Where like I'm not concerned about why he had 6 wives. Like, I'm available.
I was gonna say,
who is this person?
I was like 6'4" tall ginger. I was like, so why wasn't Deschenes living in the late 1500s?
And he plays the lute.
Oh my god!
What is a lute actually? Like,
I think a lute is very similar to what a flute is. Let me look it up.
She's just bigger?
I think so.
That's what she said?
No, I think it's a strung instrument. I think it's similar to a guitar.
Oh,
I don't know. It is. Okay, yeah. A lute is any plucked string instrument with a neck and a deep round back enclosing in a hollow cavity, usually with a sound hole or an opening in the body. There is a lot of double entendre in that.
I was going to say, you said cavity, you said...
Yeah, a lute is like very similar to like, I guess like what a modern day guitar would be.
So he knew what he was doing the whole time.
He fucking knew what he was doing. He was the old time hipster. Because he was talented. He was very talented in his musical endeavors. He
was educated. He was talented. Like, his mom, bless him, like, she was like, you're going to learn to read and to write, even though, like, you're a spare, because he wasn't supposed to be the king.
He wasn't supposed to get the throne.
Wild thing. Like, he was the Harry of whatever day that was.
The late 1500s.
I mean? Like, they were like, you're going to learn how to, like, read poetry and joust because you're a Renaissance prince. We don't give a fuck if you know how to do diplomatic shit.
Basically, he was any early 2000s rom-com perfect man. He knew he had the emotional depth of playing music.
He was like the dog walker. Yeah.
And he knew how to write poetry, but he also jousted. Like, he was like the teenage heartthrob of the late 1500s.
And he was tall and ginger.
He was 6'4".
Like, we can't stress that enough. Like, I'm sorry. I know we've said that before, but I cannot get over how tall he was because nobody else was that tall.
No.
Like,
let me correct myself. It was the early 1500s, not the late 1500s. I was wrong.
Oh.
But that's okay.
I didn't write a single date
I didn't
down,
either. That's why I
I'm...
got it wrong. I was 100 years late.
Okay, so then his brother, who was like sent away,
Yeah, he was the firstborn. So like the heavy is the crown of the head that wears it. Like, he was I don't know if that was the quote. I'm gonna try and play that off like that was it, but that's okay. He I mean, yes, Arthur held a shit ton of responsibility, and Henry got away with doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do because no eyes were on him.
Also, so like, picture this. At Arthur's wedding to Catherine of Aragon,
correct,
she's Spanish.
She is.
She's like...
doesn't speak any English.
Yeah, she's like, let's, make a bond between Spain and England. And Arthur, his older brother, was like, let's do it. We'll get married. At the wedding, Henry was like, maybe he was younger than 17 for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But he got so excited. He got so hype that he took off his like waistcoat.
His Tudor waistcoat,
which apparently was like a big ass like scandal. He leapt about the room, which means that this bitch got drunk, took off his shirt, and was like dancing around the room because he was so hype about his brother getting married. And I've lived through like my brother's getting married. Let me tell you, it's a hype time.
It is. It's not difficult to imagine. Let's just say that. I need to also bring up the fact that Catherine spoke 3 languages. She was raised, she was educated, she was smart, she knew what the fuck she was doing. I bow down to Miss Catherine of Aragon. No, Catherine Aragon, not of Aragon. Catherine Aragon, because she is educated. She spoke multiple languages, and she said, I don't give a fuck if I'm marrying someone from England. I ain't learning English. I'm going to stick to what I know. Do you know that she did not ever learn English?
I did not know that.
No, so originally we know that she was, do you know that she was betrothed to Prince Arthur? She was betrothed at the age of 3 years old. 3. Knowing that he was English. And her parents, which basically brought about modern day Spain, said, still, we don't give a fuck, you're not learning English. Well, originally she married Prince Arthur, and then eventually she married Henry VIII. Still not knowing English.
That makes me so happy, honestly, because how dare you think that she should conform to him when, like, why shouldn't he learn Spanish and, like, learn how to talk to her in Spanish?
Correct.
King Arthur and Catherine of Aragon, correct me if I'm wrong, but they both got the same disease, the sweating disease.
Correct.
Yeah, and she recovered and was, like, fine, and he fucking died. And then basically the dad, King Henry the
7th,
I'm assuming the 7th, he was like, listen, I'm gonna lock you in this tower like Rapunzel, you can't leave, I'm gonna be super strict because we didn't realize that we were teaching you how to be a Renaissance prince,
right?
Like jousting and poetry and all this shit, but suddenly
you're going to be king,
a fucking king, because Arthur is dead, and we're going to also, P.S., lock this Catherine of Aragon, like, away to just hold out until
you're ready.
Yeah. And, like, she sent a letter to her dad. She was like, okay, P.S., if, like, something doesn't happen soon, I'm going to kill myself. But she didn't say it like that. She was like, oh, like, there's something that's going to happen that, like, the British monarchy nor you can stop, which basically means kill yourself. Yeah. And she was like, either send me to a nunnery or, like, let me die because I'm doing nothing with my life. Did we say that they both, her and Arthur got...
Well, basically, since she was born, she was basically, like, groomed to be a queen. She was always meant to marry royalty. She was also... Do you know that she descended from English royalty? Because we know that inbreeding happens. So she came from, I think it was Edward the First or Edward the Second. Her lineage dates back to actually English royalty, even though she was Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was quite educated. She fought for a lot of education for women, and she was very involved in the arts and very much like fought for all of that.
Meanwhile, Henry was like, I'm not supposed to be the king, but now suddenly I'm the king. I'm going to be the best king of all time. And the other king, he apparently put him in a room that was adjacent to his room. Don't laugh at me.
Yeah.
And so Henry could only leave his room if he went through his dad's room to get out. And he was like, I'm going to be the seriousest king of all time.
Seriousest. A big deal for King Henry was that he wanted a son. That ran through the entirety of all of King Henry's life, was that he wanted a son. No matter what it took, he wanted a son. Which is why, after 24 years of marriage to Catherine of Aragon, she produced a few sons, but no sons that actually survived.
Can I just make a note that he became king when he was 17 years old? Who among us?
Not me.
Can you imagine signing onto a ship and a 17-year-old walking up to you and being
I'm
like,
the captain.
Hello.
But also we also have to realize that the life expectancy back then was 34.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
he's already in perspective 50 years old at 17.
Okay.
So he's been married to Catherine of Aragon. And he's been married quite a while. I mean, we have to point out that he was married to Catherine of Aragon for 24 years. That's a long fucking time, especially for the Tudor period. That was a very, very long time. It was his longest marriage, but not only his longest marriage, it was his longest marriage combined with the other 5 wives. So all of the time he was married to the 5 other wives doesn't add up to as long as he was married to Catherine of Aragon. So he was married to Catherine of Aragon for a while. And
you know why, though? It's because he didn't know that divorce existed.
That actually existed.
He was about to invent it.
Correct. So Mr. Henry was like, I ain't getting a son out of this woman. It's just not happening.
Here's the thing, though. She tried so hard.
She did. He was like, okay, so obviously you're not going to give me a son anymore. This is ridiculous. So he went to what's a modern day either minister or pastor. I don't know anything about Christian religion. I was raised Jewish, so I don't really know.
The Pope?
He went to the Pope, sure. He created this whole ruse in being like, she was originally married to my brother, but she didn't sleep with him. Cursed. And that it wasn't a real anyways. So he tries creating this whole fucking... So he was like, I want to get this annulled. This isn't a real marriage. And actually the church came back and said, no, it is a real marriage. So basically fuck off. And he said, oh, so you're going to tell me to fuck off?
I was like, I see your fuck off.
And I raise you
a whole ass religion.
And I raise you the Church of England. And he basically created the Church of England based on the fact that he wanted to divorce Catherine of Aragon. He basically said,
Oh, you're the Pope? Oh, you don't want to let me do what I want to do? Okay,
Fuck
well,
off.
I'm just going to make my own
Yes.
church, still be a Catholic, still do all the same fucking things, still, like, prosecute Protestants for doing
What
all
they
the
want to
shit
do.
that they want to
Right.
do. But also, just a caveat, I can also divorce people if I want to.
So, complete fuckboy. So basically, he created the Church of England to annul his own marriage. And he succeeds. Separates from Catherine of Aragon. She moves to a nunnery. And he moves on to Miss Anne Boleyn. King Henry VIII is ultimate male straight toxicity. And he moves on to Anne Boleyn within a few days, basically.
Yeah, meanwhile, because the whole ass fucking time...
He was with Anne Boleyn.
Like, oh, it's Anne Boleyn. Oh, she's cute. Oh, I'm available to write green sleeves. Maybe.
He didn't, by the way. That's a fact that I have to come upon. King Henry VIII did not write green sleeves. It came from Italian descent. Thank you very much. Anyways.
Good.
So, King Henry had actually slept with both Anne Boleyn's sister and mother before he actually married Anne Boleyn herself.
Okay, part of me is like, get it, Anne Boleyn. Be a lady in waiting and, like, get the attention. But then she was like, really hate the last wife that you had and her daughter. And then be like, oh, also, when Catherine of Aragon dies, she strutted around the palace. She was wearing bright yellow, and she was like not sad that bitch is gone. Who?
Bright yellow.
Who asked you?
She said, I don't give a fuck. She put on her corset and she said, you know what? Today I am choosing to put on sunshine yellow.
I'm not trying to, like, slut shame anybody, but, like, she knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
The whole fucking time. She was like, by the way, I also cannot give you a male heir.
And let me tell you, Mr. Henry was not happy about that either.
I do not think that King Henry had the most aggressive sperm. Like, I'll say
He
it.
doesn't. And a lot of the time, male descendant, basically all of descendants come from, like, the male. Like, it was never any of the women's fault. Surprise, surprise. Women being fucking punished for what men do.
And on top of that, I think before she got, beheaded, or maybe after, but he was doing a joust.
And got hurt.
Really,
Very,
like, brutally
very
injured.
badly injured.
And people think that it affected his
mental
mind,
state,
and
yeah.
he was fucked. And then on top of that, he had all those, like, leg ulcers, which, ew.
But let's talk about how then, at that point, King Henry turned around and said, you're cheating on me. And she probably did, let's be real. But
Do you think so?
I think there was definitely a possibility. But I think he was also...
Of incest or of cheating?
Both. Let's be honest here.
You think of incest?
Oh, yeah. I think that incest ran wild. But I think that at that point, King Henry was already aware of his relationship with Jane Seymour, already knew that he loved her, and I think there was already a push to push Anne Boleyn out. Basically, I'm moving on and I don't need her anymore. How do I get rid of her as soon as possible? And I think to be able to, as king, to turn around and say, behead her, that was easy.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Cut her head off. I'm moving on. And then a few days later, he moves on to Jane Seymour.
He proposed to that bitch, like, the day after, and then they got married 10 days after she died.
Yeah.
Like, level 1, Anne Boleyn wearing yellow when
Yes.
Catherine of Aragon died.
Yes.
Level 2,
Proposing the day after she died.
Ground hasn't settled yet, and we've moved on.
Correct. So, fun fact about Miss Jane Seymour is she was never actually a proper queen. And that's because of the plague. So I relate to her now with Miss COVID. Like, I deserve a crown and I deserve a throne, and coronavirus is just not letting me do that, you know?
So they were scared of congregating because of the plague?
So I believe that obviously they wanted to protect the king and the queen, and a gathering is not very safe. So she never was properly coronated.
Interesting. Also, King Henry was a super hypochondriac. Like, which
Crazy.
makes sense because his, brother died from the sweating sickness, and like he was, had a lot of shit going on, but like he was an actual hypochondriac.
Yes.
He had a lot of health problems, so like that did not serve him well at all. Like it didn't help him.
No, it didn't. Anyways, so he moves on to Jane very quickly. And if you are a fan of Six, you know that the song goes, "The only one he truly loved."
Rude.
And it's very well known that she was the one that he only really did love. So,
did you know that Jane Seymour and Anne Boleyn got into a cat fight?
I have that written down.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my God.
Because Anne discovered that Jane was wearing a necklace with his portrait on it.
Yes.
Could you imagine how much of a bad bitch Jane was walking around being like, I know that he really loves me, and so I have his necklace.
So, like, Anne Boleyn, she had it coming. Dun, dun, she had it coming.
Apparently so.
Who needed TV back then, right?
Honestly.
Like, these people were living their own CW drama.
They really were. So, Jane Seymour, she gets pregnant, and guess what? She has a son.
Hey.
So Henry's obviously
she crushed that.
Henry's obviously over the moon. Jane was giving birth. There was a female attendant who actually came to the king and said, "Listen, things ain't going right. You can choose one or you can choose the other." And he reportedly said, quote unquote, "Let the child live, for other wives are easily found."
Because his true priority was always getting a male heir. Always.
And at that point, he knew that he was, I think. Or did he? I don't know. But I don't think medicine was that advanced. I mean, people were throwing their shit in the street.
They're like, the kicks sound like a boy.
So he basically was like, yeah, fuck her. And a week later, Jane dies. Very sad.
Bye, girl.
Yeah. So what does King Henry do?
What's a man to do? Find another wife?
Yes. So he is like...
God, this one is my favorite.
I very much have a soft spot in my heart for Anne of Cleves. I don't know why. I just like...
Because we've all been there. Like,
we've all been there.
Know an Anne of Cleves.
So basically,
we all know an unphotogenic bitch.
So basically, like Tinder, he gets a bunch of portraits. He's like, bring me portraits of all the women across the land of who is of royal descent.
Sorry. Bring me the portraits.
And that's what he does. And he stumbles across Miss Anne of Cleves. And he basically swipes right. He's like, yes.
He's like, she's cute. Bring her to me.
He apparently, Hans Holbein took a little bit of artistic liberty in how she looked. Because Miss Anne of Cleves walks up to the castle and she goes, I am here. You're welcome. I am gracing you with my presence. And King Henry goes, you don't. No. I'm sorry, no.
I heard this really amazing story, and I have no idea if this is true at all. But you know how he like hit his head really hard? He got like kind of weird after that.
Yes.
We talked about this already.
Yes.
And so like apparently he had this big plan to like dress up as a servant when she first arrived, and she would like be like, he was basically like, oh, I'm gonna make her like fall in love with me, but then like she's like, oh, he's just a servant, and then he's gonna like rip off his costume and be like, I'm the king.
I'm the king.
Which, again, 6'4" ginger, like we know it's you.
Yeah.
But I think he was like a little bit like fucked up in the head, because he was like, I'm gonna like make this like big ass plan. He has like a history of loving to like dress up and like do things. So he dressed up like the servant, and she comes in and he's like, oh, like, blah, blah, blah. And then she blanks him, basically. And she's like, get away from me. And he was like, oh, and then like trying to do the reveal. And he was like, I'm the king. It's just from the moment like he was like, you're cute, and then he was like, oh, she's not cute, and then he was like, I'm gonna pretend to be a beggar and like win her love, and she was like, get out of my way. Like throws her coat on him like Miranda Priestley.
Yeah,
and
so
he's
like
ah.
she was of like royal descent, powerful. She knew that like she was walking into the castle and that like she was going to become a queen. She had that mindset, and I think that he was intimidated by it. I think that he didn't like that. He didn't like a strong woman. And I think whether she looked like her portrait or not, I think that he wanted to get rid of her from the start because I think he was intimidated by her. Apparently there's this story of Anne of Cleves was like in her carriage on her way to the castle, and like King Henry like showed up like in her carriage, and apparently she rejected him. And from there, he was already upset at her.
Interesting. Maybe that's when he dressed up as a servant.
Yeah, maybe.
The best part about her is that she escaped with her life, which is more than Anne
She
Boleyn
still
can
had
say,
her head. Yep.
because she was able to just annul the whole thing because they never actually consummated the marriage.
Correct. And Henry actually gave her 2 houses and gave her an allowance for allowing the annulment. Are you kidding me? I want to go into a 6-month relationship and walk out of it with 2 houses and an allowance. Are you kidding me?
I was going to say, like, nobody pays me anything for not sleeping with them. What am I doing wrong?
I'm like, hello?
But now, oh no, like, he's single again. Like, what's
by
King
himself.
Henry to do? Is it find a 19-year-old?
Yes.
It is, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yes, Miss Catherine Howard.
Why is everybody named Catherine? Oh my God, did you know that this Catherine was named after Catherine of Aragon? That's
I wrote that down. Yes,
Oh my
I wrote that down.
God.
The fact that Catherine Howard was named after his first wife. How creepy. How creepy.
So creepy. So creepy.
That's not okay. Gross. So she was like happy to flirt with a guy or 3.
Why are you trying to like protect her virtue? The bitch was not a virgin.
No, she was not.
Yeah, he thought she was because she was like so young, but she was like, P.S. I'm pretty. People want to get it. And then he was like,
And I'm allowing them to.
Right. And then he was like, off with this one's head, you know?
Off with this one's
It's been
head.
a minute.
Off with her head.
There she goes.
But at her execution, she said, I die a queen, but would rather have died the wife of one of his advisors, and names his last name. So on her last words were basically like, I got to be queen, but also.
But your advisor's like, got that dick. Got that good dick.
She's like, I don't regret anything, pretty much.
See, she stepped up where Anne Boleyn like fell short because Anne Boleyn was like, "Oh no!"
Oh,
like,
she would like made
poems
this like
about
long
death,
speech,
like,
yeah.
Thanks, Jesus. And then Catherine Howard was like, "Middle fingers up.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
give a fuck."
So, what's a guy to do?
Find another Catherine.
Find another Catherine. So he moves on to Miss Catherine Parr, which is the final wife because she outlives him. He dies. And she was 21 years younger than Henry.
Jesus Christ. And then he gets buried next to his actual, like, real love, Jane Seymour, who, like, thankfully never lived long enough to see what a dirtbag he really, truly was.
Correct. Well, you know what the fun thing about Miss Jane Seymour is? She was never coronated as a queen, but she was the only one who received a queen's burial.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's a queen. So, King Henry, he died of renal and liver failure, but don't be sad because he also had diabetes and syphilis. So, and also, I was going to say someone said, no one told me this, but I did read it. But, he was thought to have been on a diet of 5,000 calories per day.
Yeah, and apparently he drank like some exorbitant amount of like liquor a day as well.
Ugh.
Like I want to say like 70 liters, which is a shit ton. I don't know if that's
Which
right.
is what I drank the last time.
The last time we recorded it. Okay, so if you had to pick one of them to be friends with, who would you?
I think Anne of Cleves.
Mm.
I feel like history remembers her as like not being photogenic, but I'm sure she had a great personality. And so I can relate to her. Who would you pick?
I think I'd be friends with Jane Seymour. She just like radiates like confidence. He loved her for some reason. So I'm like interested to know like who she was, and like also like that's just like major like confidence bad bitch energy that I'm so here for.
Okay, thanks so much for listening, you guys. We hope that you liked this because we had so much fun doing it. If you liked it, make sure that you leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, like, comment, subscribe, follow. I don't know. Do everything to make sure that you don't miss out on any new episodes because we drop a new one every single Tuesday. Also, make sure that you follow us on all of our social media. Hello, Joey, what's our Twitter?
Who? Me? Oh, yes. Our Twitter is, oh my God. Oh my God. Our Twitter is new to the city. Make sure you spell city, CiTea.
And also make sure that you follow us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And that's New to the City Podcast. And
That's right.
Tell us who you would be friends with of all of the 6 wives at newtothecitypodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email and we will respond to you, dear listener.
That's right.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
I wish I had a lute to play into the